They gave off such a similar vibe in this movie.
Yeah, that's why they occupy the same place in my mind.
No, yeah,
It's
I'm starting to see.
insane.
Like, I was confusing them for like the first part of the movie. I was like, okay, I know both their names. I know which is which. But like,
Yeah,
you
it's
could
so
swap them and it
odd.
wouldn't change a single thing.
Hi, I'm Danielle,
And Abdel.
and this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Right. So, right. So today we watched Red Tails.
Yes. So, as always, IMDb. A crew of African American pilots in the Tuskegee training program, having faced segregation while kept mostly on the ground during World War II, are called into duty under the guidance of Colonel A.J. Bullard. Run on sentence. Fun. And
Yeah.
another thing about this one is even though the Tuskegee Airmen are a real group that existed during World War II, the characters in this film are fictional, but they're based on real people. So it's kind of like, what was that one music thing that we watched that was like, it
Oh,
wasn't
the
Temptations,
tip,
that was like fake
the heart.
people.
They're called like the
Yeah,
heart
it's
throbs or the heart something.
the five
The five
heartbeats, yeah.
heartbeats. There it
So
is. There it is.
yeah, so it's similar to that in the fact that it's kind of based off of a real group a little bit, but everyone in it is fictional. So, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess as usual, we start off with things we liked about this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to kick it off or?
Yeah, sure. One of the first scenes that I have that I like is Deke's near death experience during the airstrike. It was when I think there was gas leaking in his little
Yeah.
plane, and it seemed like he was gonna go down, and they were like, "Oh, pull up!" Like he got
Yeah.
hit. It
Yeah.
was just like a really tense scene that did a great job of like building up that tension. You could feel the stakes and everything. That was a really solid scene that I could really get behind.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree. I also thought the final scene where Lightning died was also good. Like they had some
That was
pretty
so sad.
yeah some
That
very
was so
touching
sad.
moments in like the cockpits of these planes each time like one of them kind of got hurt. Like even when
Yeah.
the guy in the beginning lost sight in his like eye.
I don't know his name.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, Junior Ray Gun Junior. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah, sure.
yeah, I thought there were just like very powerful moments like that. I
Yeah.
guess yeah. Next point. I thought a lot of the scenes in the planes were pretty good. I thought, or at least there were good points in them that I liked. Like I thought at times they got a
I
little
also have
chaotic.
gripes about things in the plane, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like at times they got a little chaotic and hard to follow. But when they did want to show something, like there was that like backflip maneuver that he like saw the other
Ooh,
guy
yeah.
do and then did later. I thought like that was a really good moment. Even kind of that final one where he's like going head on against the plane. Like I thought when it was something big and they were doing something spectacular in the planes, I thought those scenes were handled well during like the flight scenes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, some of the big like moments in the planes were really good. Um, I also like Terrance Howard's Bullard character, and every time he advocated for his men, like when he went in was like, "We need to give us better stuff so that we can do such and such a thing, and you should give us this." Like he was just a really good advocate for his men, and I enjoyed that about him.
Yeah.
And it was nice whenever he went in against, I think it was Bryan Cranston, and then there were a couple other people he went up against. I don't remember their names. Like you know this about us now. We used to be good at names. Now we
Yeah.
stopped. But I just really liked that. It was very much he like told he was, oh my gosh, what was it? He was like you're pretty cocky, aren't you? And he was like, yeah, that's not the worst thing someone has said
Yeah,
about
he was
me.
like, yeah, that's
Just
the only
like
thing
that
that
whole
people are saying about me. I got work to do. I was like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, just that towing the line between cocky, like it was really good.
Yeah, no, I definitely liked his character too. I guess I also kind of like their story overall. You know, of kind of being this first all black pilot group, and they end up like kind of being the best, even though you know they're often like slighted and not really given the kind of respect they deserve. Like it's definitely a story we've seen
Yeah.
in a lot of these. You know, a lot of black
Yeah.
history. It's a very common story, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's always nice to to see them kind of just like destroy expectations. Like that first mission they went on, where like they ended up like going to the base and like destroying a bunch of German planes. Like, yeah, it was nice to see them just run up the numbers on this, you know. So.
Yeah, I have that scene when the Germans realized that it was a bunch of black people who were beating them, just like, again, defying expectations. Yeah. When, as you said, they've got racism and segregation going against them. Plus, a lot of times their equipment wasn't as good as everyone else's stuff. Like, I remember when they were talking about the German planes when they finally beat, I guess they call him Pretty Boy. Yeah. When they finally, like, beat him, they had, like, top-of-the-line planes that could, like, do all this extra stuff. And they're in their same, like, little rinky-dink aircrafts that they've had the entire time, basically. And they were still able to, like, pull off, like, the impossible, basically.
Mm-hmm. You have anything else, or?
No, that was everything I had.
Yeah, that was all I had as well. Ready to get in the negatives?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll start. I had one, like, huge negative that, like, borderline ruined a lot of things for me, and it was that love relationship between him and
That was
Sophie.
The first thing I had too.
Oh my gosh! Like I'm like, this might be a candidate for one of the worst like forced love plot lines we've ever had, because this was like bad from start to finish. Like I was cringing more during that proposal than I do during like Love Is Blind. Like it was bad.
It was not good.
It was very bad.
It was so weird because I feel like I watched it wrong, but to me it seemed as though he like saw her from a plane.
No, that's like, exactly what happened.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly what happened.
And then he falls in love with her, and they have the language barrier, of course. But like, no, you guys knew this was coming. Crazy. We always hate the romances, and this one was bad.
Yeah.
It was so blah, and it's especially weird how blah it was, considering how exciting and vibrant and fun Lightning is as a character. Like when he's with all his men, they're like joking around and talking, and he makes his bet with the drinker, and it's like, I'll stop being reckless if you stop drinking and all that other stuff. And they're just they like joke with each other. They have fun. But whenever he was with Sophie, it was the most boring thing in the world. And I was can we please just leave?
I mean, for me, not only was it just boring, it like took away from so much of the movie. Like if they had taken all of those scenes and instead focused on the like rift between Lightning and Captain Easy, like all of those scenes could have been replaced with with scenes just of them two, and we could have gotten more into their beef, more into their dynamic, like the drinking problem, the arrogance problem. You could have gotten more into that. Not only that, it also once he proposed, it kind of spoiled that he was gonna die for me. Because like as soon as he proposed, I was like, oh, we just had to raise the stakes for when he dies at the end. Oh, okay. And so like it ruined the movie in that sense for me too. Like it was like an awful decision. It didn't need to be there. Like it was just a terrible, terrible move to have the romance in there, I thought.
And to me it was never woven into the story.
No, it wasn't. It
always was like, because in an ideal world, when you have these war movies and they go home or they have like a girlfriend or partner or whatever, it's supposed to be like, this is what we're fighting for, that chance of normalcy. However, whenever we were there, it was like the movie stopped in its tracks and just like went to them. And it's like, we lost all the momentum we were building up over here. And like we just basically stopped and like decided to watch these two try to talk to each other. And there was a language barrier that was huge, so he barely understood her.
No, the whole relationship happened off screen.
It was so
messy. The whole relationship was off screen. So by the time he proposed, I was like, wait, what? Like I didn't know you guys had a conversation. Like I don't know how this happened, but yeah, that was like it really hurt the movie a lot for me.
It was
like
rough as hell.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem I had with this one. Like, that just ruined it for me.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. One of mine is, so we talked a little bit about the plane scenes when they're, like, doing their airstrikes and everything. One of my gripes is sometimes they sound like NPCs during that, and it made it sound so, like, corny to me. Because it'd be like, you got it, Lightning. And they say it exactly like that. Where it's like, come on, guys. We've got it. One more shot. Or something like that. And I'm like, this isn't a video game? Like, why do you sound like the non-playable characters in a video? Like, it just sounded so like lame to me that it kind of was like we're doing this objectively cool thing, but we sound so dorky right now.
I'll go a step further. I thought a lot of the dialogue in the whole movie sounded a little like stiff and just like a little like expository, especially like in the beginning and like in like the plane scenes. Like, there's just like several moments where I found myself thinking like, that was a stiff line. Like it sounded like some line reading was just happening right there, you know. So
like they're on an SNL stage and you could see the cue cards behind the camera.
Yeah, it did feel like that a few times.
Which is odd because of the caliber of actors in this movie. We had Cuba Gooding Jr., we had Terrance Howard, Leslie Odom Jr., the guy who plays Lightning, I believe he became Martin Luther King in Selma. I think Neo was in it too.
Yeah.
We just had like a really high caliber of actors for like some of the line readings we got in this movie.
Yeah,
and it was very
like,
weird.
It almost like felt like they just kind of like rushed it out. Like I don't know how long the production of this took, but like it just felt like slightly like rushed, I guess, or like like actors were kind of just like phoning it in a little bit, but
just a little.
Yeah. Let's see, my turn. Yeah, I guess another thing, I didn't really follow the storyline with Junior Ray Gun who got like kidnapped.
Oh, no.
It just seemed to like skip. Like there was a few scenes where I rewind thinking I missed something and realized I didn't, and like so I guess he like got captured but then like escaped immediately or met up with some group that wanted to escape and then they escaped immediately, but like then
if we had cut Lightning and this Italian girl, we could have definitely delved into this. Because my gripe about it was like I definitely forgot he got captured, and when he came back, it was also so incredibly corny because it was at Lightning's funeral, and he was like, "I know you guys are doing this without me," and I'm like, "What the heck?
Yeah,
like this is how you come." And he comes in on like a little it's not a golf cart, but just, the little Jeep thing, and he's like, and they're like Ray Gun, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. And that was like a major problem I had. Like that was part of the reason like Lightning's death almost didn't hit as hard as it should have, Because when they cheapened it with the Sophie thing, so that like made it like just very predictable for me. And then like at the actual funeral, or then like they had that scene where like they told Sophie, and like that would have been a touching scene had I cared about this Sophie person and had I like cared about this relationship. And then the funeral could have been a touching scene too, but they cheapened that with Ray Gun returning. So like you didn't even really get to sit with that like. Damn, like Lightning just died, like the arrogant guy that you kind of ended up loving by like halfway through the movie, like
you literally only felt it for the 2 seconds after his plane crashed when they're like Lightning, like pull up, Lightning, pull up, and like you kind of think it's gonna be like Deke's thing where he does end up pulling up, but then of course he doesn't and he dies, but like. Yeah, and he of course does that cheesy thing where he has Sophie's picture in his
that was the biggest eye roll for me. I was like, you just met this girl like I don't know how long ago, but still.
I don't know. Their relationship really colored a lot of the problems with them.
Yeah, because like it just felt like such a waste of time going there, and there was like so many little like interesting relationship dynamics between the actual group of pilots, And also, like, we either could have gotten more of just, like, the group themselves, or we could have gotten more interactions with, like, the higher-ups and, like, like, the actual bomb squad of, like, white men or, like, you know what I mean? Like, the general, like, sending down these orders. Like, I would have taken anything else than, like, this little love side plot thing,
Or even more of a pretty boy and the rest of the Germans or something. Like, literally anything else.
Or just, like, fleshed out Ray Gun's story in there in like the detainment camp or the like prisoner of war.
Yeah, especially because I think I was reading the Wikipedia and it like explained how he got loose.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not what I saw in the movie. Like, I guess that's what happened, but that's not what it looked like.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it made it seem like it was this cool thing when he gets out, and I'm like, that was not cool.
Yeah, I was
he kind of just like
I didn't know what was happening. Again. Yeah. But let's see. Do I have anything else negative for this one?
That was all I had.
Yeah, and it was pretty much centered around this relationship thing. Like I didn't want it to hurt the movie so much, but it did for me. I'm like, I'm sorry.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you try to force relationships into every single thing.
Yeah,
like, at least romantic relatitions, they're not always there.
Yeah, they definitely
you don't
let
need to
Hollywood
do this.
get to them. The Hollywood part got to them on this one.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. All right, I guess are we ready for ratings?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I'll kick it off. I give this one a 2.5. The flight scenes were fun. Like, I think it's a very cool story. It just like I said, the love portion really just ruined a lot of it for me. I tried not to let it ruin the whole movie. Like there definitely were like good parts, good scenes. I think like anytime like the flight people were just kind of sitting outside chatting, I thought those were always like pretty light scenes that worked well in the film. But yeah, we just kept getting taken away with this kind of love thing, and then it also like spoiled the ending for me, which I also kind of upset me. But yeah, it was definitely like a interesting watch, I think, if nothing else.
I gave this a 2 out of 5. I think a lot of it boils down to, because I could potentially give it a 2.5, but the half that I'm losing is because I don't like war movies. Mm-hmm. They're all more or less the same to me.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be the same, but they kind of are the same, especially because you know who wins the war. Like, if you're making a war movie, you know who won the war. They're all just very the same to me. And while I do, of course, like learning more about the Tuskegee Airmen, it's kind of a bummer that these are all fictional characters and not the actual group. I mean, there is a Tuskegee Airmen movie that also, weirdly enough, there's a documentary that stars Cuba Gooding Jr., I think, and then another Tuskegee Airmen movie that stars Terrance Howard, where I could be flipping those. But they've both been in Tuskegee Airmen movies that are actually, like, about real people, which I find very odd that they're also in this one about fictional. I don't know how that happened. But, yeah, I don't find war movies that exciting. They're very paint by numbers to me, personally. So that's definitely coloring my thing. And, yeah, and the romance definitely brought this one down. It didn't add any extra flavor to these fictional characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Final question. Do you wish you saw this one sooner?
I'm going to say it's an easy no. I will say I wish I knew more about the Tuskegee Airmen in general. But do I need to have seen this specific movie to, like, do that? No.
Okay. Yeah, I guess mine is kind of the opposite answer. I did want to see this earlier. Some point in like middle elementary school, I did a project on the Tuskegee Airmen, and it was like honestly like maybe like a year before this movie came out, and I wanted to see it then. Don't know why I didn't. I just remember like finishing the project. Then I was like, I would like see commercials like next summer Red Tails, and I was like, oh, like I should definitely see that. Never did. So I would want to have seen it early during that time. But yeah, that I would have said yes before watching the movie. So yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, that was Red Tails.
Yes, it was.
YouTube housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any movie suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do movies on Tuesdays and Fridays. All of our socials will be linked in the description box down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye. I feel like we don't do like extra videos or anything like that in terms of like just our rambling nonsense. Yeah. But I feel as though we could have a list of actors that give off the same vibe. Yeah. Like, I feel like there have to be more besides those two, and then Samuel Jackson and Denzel. Where it's like
Michael Ealy. There's someone I'm thinking of who reminds me of Michael Ealy. In that same thing, but I can't remember the other name.
No, it's not Michael Ealy and the guy who hosted that terrible reality show we watched that one time. It's not those two. They don't give the same exact vibe. No! Is it the guy who's in Grey's Anatomy? Does he give the same vibes as Michael Ealy?
Let me see if that's him.
Let me see. Because I think I know who Michael Ealy is.
There's one other like light-skinned actor I'm thinking of.
Okay, there's Jesse Williams. Is it him and Michael Ealy? Because I can see it. If it's those two that you're thinking of.
It might be. Actually, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.